Good morning slash afternoon, everybody. Welcome to True Function Ninja Training Ground in Swindon, in the United Kingdom, the home of our final qualifier for the World Ninja League Premier Series. My name is Kane Casillas alongside Jack Anderson. This is going to be a big day, and we've got quite an interesting course cooked up by none other than our two big brains behind the courses, Dion Trigg and Millie Coward. Great OGs of the sport, especially great pioneers over on the European Ninja side of things. Jack, we've got an incredibly stacked field already qualified for the Premier Series finals, and we're going to add 4 European competitors in each division by the end of today.
That's absolutely right, Kane. I mean, looking at this lineup here, we've seen people all across the US. We've got the Canadians, and of course, we can see my home territory, the Australians, in amongst the mix. So, what this series is doing, it's bringing together the best of the best from across the world, and we're hoping to add some UK and European competitors at large to this lineup, Kane, and I'm excited.
I am very excited for what we've got today. We've taken the top 25% of European competitors throughout the last regular season of the World Ninja League. You're going to see some top athletes from the United Kingdom, as well as some top athletes from France, and even some representatives from Germany. Very excited. And they're all going to join in on this battle, as you said, with our Australians, Canadians, and Americans. We've got world champions already in the mix on both sides here. And for the male and female divisions, I'm very excited to see who will fill in those final spots. Now, we do have a bit of a rules thing to go over for our course, so let's get into that.
Absolutely. It's one that we've been following for the last 8 week, Kane, yeah, 8 weeks. So hopefully we're quite familiar with it at this point. But But yeah, absolutely. And we can see, hopefully, coming up soon, we'll gain a graphic of how we can hope this competition will prevail. Of course, Kane, we have the placement course followed by the challenge course. Both of these have been incredibly tough for our competitors all weekend long. So if you aren't familiar with the placement course, it's more of a speed course at heart. And what you can trust is that if they fall, their run will be over. It has that very traditional format. It's a shorter course, and it's one that will determine the run order for the challenge course. And as we come into the challenge course, it really earns its name. Competitors are allowed 2 retries for the entire course with a max of 1 retry per obstacle. If they fall, so if that means if they fall, their run won't be over, but it does mean that this course is going to be much tougher. And based on the outcomes of this challenge course, it will determine our top 4, who will then be invited to compete in Brooklyn, New York in November, which we are all really excited about. And we're going to add to our list today of incredible, phenomenal athletes. And hopefully we're going to gain a look at the run order coming here into this UK-based competition. I think it's looking at the lineup that we have here. There are some phenomenal athletes, not only from the UK, but Europe at large. The amateur male and amateur female divisions have not disappointed. We have approximately 2 amateur female athletes, which we will get to later about how they qualify in the top 4. Their places are not automatically guaranteed. And then we have 18 amateur males, which goes without saying, for 4 spots, they're going to have to fight it out, toe for toe, tit for tat. It's going to be a tough one here. And hopefully soon we're going to move into our first competitor. Of course, we're going to start with the amateur female divisions, pretty stock standard there. And then we're going to move our way into the amateur males afterwards. But it'll be interesting. Obviously, we saw the young kids take on this course yesterday, but stepping into the amateur division now and moving into our teens and elites later here today, we're going to see the course get ever more competitive and ever more difficult. But I'm
That's
sure
right,
everyone
Jack.
is excited. Yeah, it's great to have you here, Kane. Great to have you back. And we can just see here that we're gearing up for this format. And is there any particular amateur athletes that stand out to you, Kane?
Oh, very many. Lars Meyer, you'll see him as number 10 on the run order. He has been grinding out the training in Germany. He's gotten on their show quite a few times as well. He's put in a lot of work. If there's anything cliffhanger related, he's going to be one to keep an eye out for. Not pulling up on your screen right now, but later on in the run order are Jack Andrews and Adrian Araujo. Jack Andrews made it to stage 3 at the World Championship this past season, got 6th overall in the young adult division. He's definitely going to be the favorite coming into today, but anything can happen. Definitely rooting for Jack as well. I got to meet him while he was out at the World Championship, and I got to train with him. This dude's the real deal. He's got the speed, he's got the power, and not only that, but over quite a few of these athletes, he has the experience of competing at true function. Dion likes to make very unique courses. They're a bit of a time machine through the overall years of Ninja. As Dion started as a fan of the OG Japanese style of Ninja, but has since adapted to the American and European styles as well. So we're going to see a good hybrid of everything on the course today, and I think Jack definitely knows how he can. He knows what to anticipate. Also, Adrian Araujo, coming out of France, made it to stage 3 in the strongest ninja bracket in our last World Championship. Placed 19th overall, top 20 in the strongest adult ninjas in the world. Definitely another person to have on your radar coming into this. He'll be running a little later. Again, he's not on your screen right now, but he will be taking on the course, as well as many other French athletes, recognizing a lot of other names. And then, of course, if you look at number 5 in the run order, we've got Billy Dixon. Billy recently started his ninja journey just last year, but you might recognize his voice from yesterday as he was on commentary for the kids, mature kids, and preteen divisions.
Well, it's incredibly exciting, Kane, just to hear you list off those athletes. I mean, when we're talking about incredible competitors, if you hear that someone's getting to stage 3 of the World Championships, you know they mean business. That is a feat that very few people on this earth can manage to say. And, when you hear about Jack Andrews coming 6th at the World Championships, that is a scary prospect for the other competitors here today.
Absolutely. Checking out the chat for a second. Very excited to see how many people we have just chilling with us for now. Thank you so much for all your patience. 61 people. Absolutely stoked about that.
Yeah,
Now,
I think everyone's
if I'm
really
not
excited to see
mistaken,
us step in. Yes.
we have none other than Mr. James Percy in the chat. Got first in the preteen division just yesterday. Great run as well. Finished the placement course, or finished the challenge course and the placement course. Pardon me. We'll see if anyone else can get double buzzers just like Mr. Percy over there.
Absolutely. And it's great to see him coming in. Hopefully he's stepping up into the amateur or even elites one day. That would be a really exciting prospect, Kane. And I was going to ask you, what were the stats like yesterday? What were we seeing from the challenge course and the placement course from our younger division ninjas?
Well, our placement course was is one of my favorites, in all honesty, because the obstacles were quite simple, but there's more obstacles on the placement course than normal. Typically there's 5, maybe 6 obstacles. We're looking at a 7 obstacle placement course, if I'm not mistaken. And
really pushing these ninjas.
Oh yeah, with a minute time limit as well. That was not easy. That's why we had very few clears. We had a lot of capable athletes, but that time limit made it really, really tight, and you really couldn't afford to make a mistake. The challenge course, the time limit was pretty lenient, but at the same time, there were just some small technical things that you really had to keep in mind. I don't know if you can see on the right side of your screen, folks, but there were 2 discs right there. Those discs do spin. And we saw a lot of kids jump onto those discs with uneven hand placement, and that really caused a lack of control when they were trying to lâcher from one disc to another. It caused them to spin out, and without a firm grip on both sides of the disc, they found themselves really going cattywonker instead of, having that control. So we'll see how those, cleanups come in, but at the same time, there are a lot of obstacles untouched that I'm seeing some mats under. We didn't see the salmon ladder used, but I see some mats by the salmon ladder now. So I'm curious as to what's going to be adjusted and buffed for our amateur division.
Well, yeah, they're always looking to level it up as we go through these divisions. It's only going to get harder as the rest of the day goes on, with the elites. By the time you get there, the course looks near impossible at that point, Kane. But I was also going to ask you would you argue that it's more of a technical course for the challenge course, or is it a forearm burner and one that tests the endurance of these ninjas here today?
I would definitely put this under the technical category. We have a lot of different obstacles, a lot of classic ninja obstacles that train different types of skills. Something that Billy mentioned is that Dion likes to throw in obstacles where you're incorporating your full body. And so, you can pump your whole body a little bit, but your forearms might
Mm.
be they might have a little more gas in the tank towards the back half of the course due to the incorporation of your legs. You can see those pole graspers right there. It's a use of the arms, yes, but also a good use of the legs. And if you need a good rest, you can always wrap your legs around that pole and shake out, of course. So there is a bit of there is still, of course, an upper body incorporation on the challenge course, but you definitely can be a little more efficient without exhausting yourself.
Well, I think we're ready to rumble. It looks like we're getting into things finally as we gear up for our first competitor, Kane.
Yes, this is Gwen Severa, and she is already breezing through these first two obstacles. You can see the time limit's a lot tighter than yesterday.
Absolutely. They're going to be pushed here on these 7 obstacles, coming in to obstacle 3 at the moment. Gwen is doing well so far.
Taking an extra swing on the ring, losing some time here, but has not touched down, and that's what matters. Coming into our fourth obstacle now. And it looks like that's going to do it for Gwen's time as she makes it out to the floating boards. We see a third board here as well. Not necessarily a tricky move for our amateurs, but that does take up some extra time as opposed to the younger divisions that only had 2 boards. And that cannonball replacing a ring. So our athletes are going to have to really dial in early on.
Absolutely. And you can just see her reaching for that final ball there. Losing a bit of momentum here. Still has to get the landing platform here, Kane.
You can see her trying to push off of that board to gain momentum, but that board is also swinging, so it's not really helping her out.
But it's good to see her fighting here. This is the ninja spirit. As she looks for the dismount, she's going to get it, I think, Kane. And she's off. And Gwen now heads on to over the next obstacle. Balance, very common bread and butter, but one that they can come unstuck on there, Kane. But luckily she moves forward, eyeing up the warped wall here.
And I believe that is a 15-foot warped wall.
That is tough for these competitors here. They are in the amateur division, Kane, so they've trained for this accordingly. But can they execute on the day? That is the question. Gwen on her second attempt here. And just can't quite get it, Kane. It seems to be out of reach for her. This could be pushing it.
And it looks like that's going to be it for Gwen's time. Still an incredible run, making it to the final obstacle of this placement course. Puts her in a very good spot coming into the challenge course. I believe it's marked as completing obstacle 4.
Absolutely. And when you're first off the ranks, it's always a tough one to see what this course is like, to be the first one into the fire, and the other competitors are now going to learn from hopefully what she's gone and done and use some of the beta breaks there, but adapt themselves accordingly. As I believe we're now moving into the elite males, if I'm not mistaken.
I do believe so. I think we have a... We'll have to double check if Miss Marina Perizzolo is going to be with us today, or if we're going to jump into amateur males. Very curious about that warped wall obstacle there. You could see the 15 at the top of the wall, indicating that that's a 15-foot wall, but you also saw those 2 blue pieces of tape. I believe that might be all that they have to reach, but I'm not entirely sure. Going to have to get some clarification on that.
Well, I guess we'll find out when the results are posted here. But coming into the elite males now, I mean, Kane, 18 competitors, 4 spots we're looking for here. This is bound to get very competitive.
Absolutely. I'm very, very excited to see. It's been a minute since I've done commentary for a roster as big as this in a single division, and I'm excited to see how competitive it gets. 14 of our athletes are going to be incredibly talented, do as well as they possibly can, and it still won't be enough for the finals. But we'll see as we jump in with Luke Norris rocking a Star Wars shirt. I love that.
And And he's got a smile on his face. He had a good attitude coming into this, so he looks calm. He looks collected, Kane, and that's what we like to see coming into this intense placement course. As Luke Norris begins his assault on this placement course here, 45 seconds on the clock. Kane, this one is not forgiving. Oh no!
Wow!
Luke
That
Norris
was
is out
not
early.
expected.
You can see him shaking his hand there. He wasn't expecting it to be so slippery. And that's going to conclude his run there. We can just see once again there, Kane. He's just coming unstuck and almost in a little bit of pain by how slippery that was. Maybe he should have used a bit more chalk coming into that one.
Yeah, those nunchucks are a little thicker than I anticipated, so I'm curious as to how that'll affect our athletes here, as they can't really make the skip over to the ring. It's a little too far from that propeller bar, so they're forced to use that nunchuck, and that's not going to be easy for them.
And Kane, you know what I think it was? It's just when you're going early in the run order, you're not necessarily expecting things and having those surprises. So perhaps he just didn't grip it hard enough. It was surprising to him. So I think coming into our next competitor, Christo Home, I think he's going to know to do a little bit better and to really grip that as hard as he can here. 31 years of age, from Bristol. You can see that he's competed in the OCR World Cup there. So a very experienced competitor as he lines up for this obstacle here, hoping to not make the same mistake that we just saw.
And he does!
Oh no!
Just grabbed a little too low. Unfortunate, as you could tell that he definitely has the strength for it, but you could see here in the replay, he really just slid right down that chuck.
It looks like there's not too much grip on it, to be truthful. It's the way in which it's also designed. But that's going to see our first two competitors here both out on the second obstacle. This is very unexpected here, Kane, for such a high-level amateur division.
Absolutely. And now we're going to actually go from our French athletes to our British athletes, now on to Abramo Zancanella, who is from Italy, Jack. He placed second at the Italian Regional Championship last season.
That is phenomenal. An Italian competitor. I love the diversity that we're having in this European competition. It's my favorite part of this series, to be truthful.
Italy has a soft spot in my heart when it comes to ninja communities, because they had they had a television presence in 2017 and never again. And 6 years later, we've still got some very passionate competitors, taking on the courses, coming all the way to the UK for this competition. I'm very excited to see that.
That is phenomenal. You love to see the dedication from these competitors. We've seen across these last 8 weeks, people have flown to different locations, people have driven, and now we're seeing it once again. And I'm excited to see how he goes on this course. Our first Italian competitor stepping up into the World Ninja League.
Second place in all of Italy, so it'll be very exciting to see how he performs here. He's going to grab the blue side of the propeller to redirect his swing. Gets a grip. Great movement. And he's through.
Okay, hopefully we're not going to see too many more ninjas come unstuck on that second obstacle as he moves through the swinging pipes, just struggling to find his footing there. It's worth noting that the clock is ticking here, Kane.
I know. He's had a very smooth run to this point, not really making any mistakes, but he got to the floating boards with 15 seconds left. You have to fly through this course.
Absolutely. The UK is demanding a great deal of our ninjas, and it looks like that is going to conclude his time. Still a very competitive run so far, despite only making it roughly 2/3 of the way through the course. We can see him not coming unstuck on that second obstacle, and that's a big win for Italy there.
Absolutely. We're now going to move on to our next runner, Julian Silarakis. A name that I believe is familiar, but I can't seem to find any information on him. Regardless, excited to see how Julian tackles the course.
Yeah, Kane, I'm quite surprised at how tough this placement course is. It took many of the younger competitors out yesterday, and what we're beginning to see here is a very quick division where hopefully more people are making it through the second obstacle, and I'm hoping we can get some finishes here. Of course, we've still got many competitors to go, but that concludes our third competitor so far, and this time limit is definitely going to be pushing everyone.
Taking a look at the run order here, you can see at number 7, Jack Andrews. We brought him up before. But looking at number 6 on the run order, we got Maxime Deporte. He's from France as well. Put up a very strong showing at the Level Up International qualifier. Definitely known for his speed, so he'll be one to watch out for. And then all the way at the bottom, you saw Thomas Zancanella. He got 12th in Italy, Abramo's brother, I believe.
Absolutely. And now we move into our 21-year-old Julian Silarakis. Great to see the French shirts being worn here, full flying colours. You see it at the World Championships every single year. The French show up in force and they do extremely well. And Julian is making great pace here, coming in 26 seconds left on the clock. This could be a good run here, Kane.
You can see that his swing is a little off kilter with the unstable bridge that we have here, but he gets through. And I think that's where we're going to see a lot of the time play a factor. You know, a lot of these athletes, it's not a difficult obstacle for them to get through. It's a difficult obstacle for them to get through quickly.
Yeah, Julian's run is likely going to conclude here on these floating boards. It's one that you definitely have to apply a lot of precision to, and you want to avoid having a swing there. I feel as though if you get into that swinging habit, it's going to rule disaster in regards to the time spent on the course. But all round, a great run from Julian, and as we move into the longer placement course, I think his technical abilities and his strength is going to shine. And I believe that we are not looking at the updated board for the amateur males. But
now we're looking at Billy.
Absolutely, he's excited. Billy Dixon, he was on the commentary lineup yesterday, and now he's on the course. What can't this man do? That is the question.
I've known Billy for quite a few years now, and you know, he's got a lot of passion for this sport, and finally, you know, this past year he's gotten to take matters into his own hands and take on the course, and we're seeing now he's made it to the Premier Series, so always a great sign. This nunchuck, how's he going to fare?
Absolutely. Holding a bit of commentator bias here for Billy. We love to see him go through this course here, and he's doing well so far. This is a good run so far. But he can all come unstuck on these swinging pipes. It's a very awkward dismount here that our ninjas have struggled with so far.
You can see that he's really trying to time his jump there. Oh, almost goes backward, but manages to stay alive. Not a whole lot of time left on the clock, but at this rate, a run of the floating boards is definitely helpful. Whoa!
Billy is having some fun there.
Now, this could put him in a good spot for the challenge course, but time will tell. Still a great run out of Billy.
This UK competition has not disappointed, and Billy definitely flew through this course. I mean, 45 seconds on the clock, this would be elite level standards is what it's coming to look like. But Billy fought with heart and soul, and I think we're going to see him do a great run on the challenge course. Big hats off to Billy. You know, he would be tired from that commentating all of yesterday, and he's stepped up here today, ready to go and compete. And we are now looking
to a Polish competitor. It looks like
love to see that.
Polish competitor. We got the Polish flag on his sleeve there. Now, let's see if I got his name right here. This is Franciszek Glowacki.
That sounds pretty good to me. It's definitely not Billy Dixon, but we love to see the Polish competitors. I think we're getting a diverse set of competitors coming from all parts of Europe, all into the UK, all to compete here at True Function, represent their countries, and hopefully secure a spot in this top 4. We've seen so far, Kane, that all they need to do essentially is make it to the warped wall, and they would be in top spot at the moment. So speed is of the essence coming into this competition.
Absolutely. And even then, timing to the floating boards is pretty important right now, as that seems to be where our cutoff is at the moment. So currently, Billy's run that we just saw is currently landing him in 3rd place with a time of 33 seconds to the floating boards. So faster than that could put you higher up on the leaderboard and in the top 3 at the moment. But we know that we want a buzzer. We know these athletes want a buzzer. So we'll see if Franciszek can break through.
Yeah, Franciszek now lining up the first obstacle. And Kane, we've asked for speed, and we are getting it here. The Polish competitor stepping up and not disappointing. Kane, this is a quick run.
Very big pops on the swinging pipe there, but he's struggling with his legs a little bit. Oh, and now he's stuck.
No, this is He's got the next board, though. This is good.
Oh, no!
Oh, no!
Slides
Fastest
down.
so far, but too early exit there. Not coming a victim of the time there, Kane, but just a slip up on those very slippery boards. Francisc's run will end early, just showing the difficulty of this course here today provided by True Function.
And you know what? Still a great run overall. Our top 4 right now consists of an Italian, a Polishman, a Frenchman, and a Brit. So very excited to
We
see
love
that
to see
spread.
It's what this European competition brings together the best of the best from every single country. And this is going to be a really interesting one, Kane, as we have Benjamin Emerson next, and we're starting now to really get into these later seeded competitors who have earned their spots and are arguably going to be really strong. We can see some of the big names that you've been hyping up, such as Jack Andrews. Their runs are coming up soon, and it's really exciting. And this is going to be our first look at the official run board. We can see if you make it to obstacle 5, you are going to be in top place, provided you go faster than 44 seconds.
Abramo currently in prime position on the challenge course. Again, guys, if you look at the leaderboard here, you flip the order there. That is the run order for the challenge course. So currently Luke Norris is set to kick off the challenge course, while Abramo Zancanella will be rounding it out. But we still have 12 more athletes to go. We haven't gotten Francisc's result on the leaderboard yet, but 12 athletes to go. This leaderboard is very much still pending.
And that gives me a lot of hope, which is we're going to hopefully see some buzzers here. And it's worth noting for everyone watching, and if you perhaps haven't seen some of the US competitions yet, the run order in which is secured from this placement course the importance of that cannot be understated. I mean, week after week, we are seeing competitors based on their placement course order has a huge influence on where they come out into the challenge course. So now as Benjamin Emerson steps up to the plate, he knows he's got to get to obstacle 5 within the space of 44 seconds. And if he gets a completion, he will be well positioned into that first place pole as he begins his attack on this course.
A great grab. Going a little more casual than I think is necessary, but
yeah,
moving very efficiently nonetheless.
Looking for that dismount here. He's got good momentum on the swinging pipe, but can he get that dismount? This is the one that costs the time. 20 seconds on the clock. If he can get through the floating boards here, this could be promising. And it's looking good here, Kane.
Benjamin was top 3 in the UK division, in the UK region for the regular season last season. And he's showing why. He runs out of time.
With that result.
And I don't know if he made it to the finish platform of the balance pipes in time for first place.
Okay, well that was still a promising run, and Benjamin is going to be one to watch coming into the challenge course. All round, he looked pretty happy with that run. It's one worth celebrating in what is becoming an extremely difficult speed course. And we can see that Benjamin Emerson is now going to be in first place, Kane, which is really exciting to see.
Just under 40 seconds to the 6th obstacle there, and we could see as well those balance pipes you're really going to have to sprint through because you're not going to get there with a whole lot of time on the clock.
No, and to now think that they've got to make it up the warped wall as well, we're going to have to see a speed competitor come through here, and hopefully Lars Meyer is going to be the one to do it.
Lars rocking a shirt from the latest season of German television. Like I said, this kid's grip strength is incredible. Trains with a group of aspiring ninjas, teens and young adult age range, and their grip strength is insane, Jack.
Well, at 15 years old, he is clearly got the grip strength. Oh!
I really like what he was going for.
You've got to applaud that. You cannot knock him for what he's gone and tried there. Lars Myers, everyone, trying to innovate there. He was calm and collected on that second obstacle, Kane. And I really wish that he made that grab, because that would have been a cool moment.
And there you find Lars in third place. Although we still don't have Francisc's result on the leaderboard. Unsure about his time to that point.
He would be a competitive 3rd or 4th place based on how he was tracking there. But Lars Meyer also throwing down a great time there. And we can just see how difficult this course is. It's something that we're not necessarily familiar with that placement course style. We're pretty typically used to seeing an overwhelming number of finishes, and people are competing for the fastest time. Now coming into James Cooper, we can see here.
Strolling right through the ascending posts. Not a problem through these first two obstacles. It's just really those first two obstacles. It comes down to your time. You can see that he's struggling a little bit on this nunchuck. He's locking off, trying to position his body properly to reach the ring, and that wingspan really came into play there.
Okay, but he has lost a bit of time here, Kane. He is now coming around to the swinging pipe. This is just proven to be extremely awkward in the dismount here, finding that momentum to make that dismount. You can see James is fighting for that momentum, but he uses that body length to his advantage, and hopefully he can make it through the floating boards here. 5 seconds on the clock. This is going to be tight, Kane.
And he drops down. Still a great run. Good use of his body there. I really like when athletes understand their physicality the way James does right now. His ability to know when to reach instead of expend extra energy is definitely going to come into play on the challenge course. That type of adjustment and that type of thinking could be the difference between qualifying and not.
Absolutely. That is so true. And hopefully on that challenge course, we will see him use his body length to his advantage, because it was clear that he was using it there. And now we step back into another France representative, Maxime Deportes. Maxime Deport. I love the French shirts. Every single time I've been to the World Championships, you just see their colors just flying and just standing out amongst the crowd.
They won the award last season for like the most spirited team, and I mean, seeing that many athletes in that uniform, it's hard to argue with that.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see every single year. And we can see Maxim here coming into the floating boards with 14 seconds left on the clock, and he's doing well so far.
I like the push, but he's grabbing by the fingertips. He's got to get out. He has time to get through these balance pipes. He's got to run, though.
He's going to run across him.
1 second. Come on. He gets the clear. Did he get the clear? Oh, man.
It's hard to tell there, but it looks like he's going up the wall for fun. And he knows that he's run out of time there, but I believe, based on what we can see here on the timing system, he's got 40 seconds to complete the floating boards. But unfortunately, that last balance move doesn't look like it's going to count.
And you know what? That is still an incredible run. It's just crazy that you now have to sprint a balance obstacle at the end of your speed course. That is terrifying, but it is part of the job, you know? That throws Maxim in second place, and if we can get the leaderboard up here, the difference between Benjamin Emerson and Maxime Deport is less than half a second right now.
Wow. And I think it's a credit to Maxim, because you just love to see the spirit there. The camera's following him. He's doing a phenomenal job. He's going to be one to watch, Kane. I think that was a really strong run out of Maxim. He had a little bit of slip up of time there on that floating boards, but he had great strength and power, which is scary for the other competitors.
Absolutely. We're now going to bring it on back to the starting line for one of the favorites to win it all. 6th place in the young adult division, made it to stage 3 at the World Championship. It's Jack Andrews, just 15 years old, already a huge force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, absolutely. Making it to stage 3 means that you are a veteran and that you know how to fly through courses. Jack Andrews here, very clearly an experienced ninja. He's been on stage 3. Nothing gets more difficult than that. And coming in with 27 seconds, Kane, this is fast.
Absolutely. I was about to say, you are also looking at the 100-meter ninja world champion right now. So speed is definitely in Jack's wheelhouse.
But are the floating boards? He's eating up a lot of time here, Kane, and that could cost him in getting the completion. 7 seconds on the clock here. Is he going to be able to make it through the bounce pipe?
He gets through.
I believe so.
We have our first... No, I'm not too sure.
That was too close to call, and it looks like our timing system has concluded that Jack Andrews will just be completing the first 6 obstacles. He was so close there, though, Kane.
That was absolutely insane. 45 seconds for this course is incredibly tight. Jack Andrews had 2.5 seconds to get up a 15-foot warped wall. Shows that he is human, but still superhuman, as he's the first person to get through the balance pipes with time to spare.
Yeah, this goes to show that even if Jack Andrews, someone with such a high caliber as himself, can't make it through this course, it's really one that is demanding for these ninjas. But it does put him into the top seeded spot at the moment. We are now through at least 10 of our competitors to this point, and we've still got a few big ones to go.
Absolutely. Still have 7 athletes remaining, waiting for Francis's time on the leaderboard as well. But we are now at Branker Heinrich, another French athlete coming out of the adult division. Now jumping into the Premier Series. Always happy to see that.
Yeah, it's really great to see him here stepping up onto this course. He just had Jack Andrews take onto this course. Can Brank follow suit? He's looking good so far. He's got a great display of strength and body length. But he's losing his balance here a little bit. Just a bit of a momentum difficulty there as he goes on.
He's going to use. I really like that approach there. He really locked in with his core on the front swing, and that allowed him to swing in sync with the board, but he drops down.
Praising his great idea there.
I loved his approach, and you know what? I'd much rather go down saying I took a risk like Branker as opposed to, playing it a little safe and running low on time.
Absolutely. That's going to conclude his run there, and that'll seed him about middle of the pack so far. So 6th place, so he won't be the first to run, but he's definitely not going to be the last. And Kane, as we've iterated so many times, this order on the placement course, it can't be underestimated. It really does play a huge role in helping you. If you're one of the top-seeded competitors in this placement course, you get to see what the other ninjas are doing in that challenge course and then just adapt accordingly. Well, next up, we've got one of our older competitors, Alec Doyle, looking to show up all the younger individuals here today, coming from Reading in Berkshire. Really exciting to see here.
Great lock-offs out of Alec as well. Now he's just going to have to play his cards right. Using a match and grab on the rings, maybe not the fastest approach, but definitely a way to ensure that you're going to get through that obstacle. Which is good because currently you're going to have to make it through the floating boards if you want to get through, if you want to end up on the top third of the leaderboard right now.
Absolutely, Kane. Alec Doyle is flying through this course here. 14 seconds on the clock.
He's making great time, Jack.
Does he have the balance? This could be our quickest run yet here, Kane. Can he get up the wall?
This could be our first clear. No!
Oh, no!
Come on, he's got one more run. And it looks like time is running out for Alec Doyle. One of our greatest runs we've seen. That's going to put him in first place as well.
Alec Doyle using the veteran experience to his advantage here. He had a slightly slower start, but made it all up on those floating boards. Showed us that not only he has the lock-off strength, but the balance. And it's just that 15-foot warped wall cane that caused him to come unstuck. But really exciting to see there from Alec Doyle. What a run.
That puts him 2 seconds ahead of Jack Andrews. And that does mean that Alec Doyle's going to be on the tail end of our challenge course run order. He's going to get to watch these younger athletes throw themselves around on the course before knowing how to properly, methodically attack the course.
Now, if I'm not mistaken here, we are stepping into our second Italian competitor, Thomas Zancanella, and I believe we saw a relative of some form stepping up. I'm not sure they're of their family relation there, but they both do share the same name. Hopefully they share the same skills here, as Thomas is doing well on this course so far.
Thomas was ranked 12th overall throughout all Italian ninjas, and in his division, he was the champion at the Italian regionals.
Wow.
Ooh, you can see the grimace and the hand slipping, but he's safe and onto the floating boards.
Now, Kane, coming in with 8 seconds here, Thomas this could end his run here. Can he manage to get off these floating boards in the next 1 second on the clock? So close, but just not quite. That will conclude his run there. Again, adding him to the middle of the pack. And it's been an interesting lineup here, Kane, so far. We've seen a huge mix and a lot of surprise athletes so far.
Absolutely. We're seeing a lot of big runs from people who haven't made the most recent appearances in the Ninja World for a minute, but they're showing up now and showing that they haven't lost a beat. Looking at that top 5, even that top 6, I mean, there's so many different countries represented, and I'm so happy about that because I love seeing how far ninjas stretched around the world.
Well,
Sebastian
next up we have
Starr now
16
taking
years
on
old
the
here.
Rope Ladder.
Absolutely. Not having too much trouble now with that little candle cane. Looking good.
Now here's where the time will play a factor. I like his approach of reaching over to the board, but he might not have given himself the most amount of swing here.
Yeah,
He's
he had
trying
good
to reach
intentions
on,
there.
but he's got to move. There's the dismount.
And now coming into the floating boards. 10 seconds on the clock here. This is going to be a tight one. He could make it work. He's got a lot of spin behind him. 3 seconds left on the clock. Can he get the dismount?
I don't think he got it.
Oh,
It looks
not
like
gonna count.
he needed to fully cross the plane, and that's the rule with the World Ninja League here. You have to fully disengage with the obstacle, and as he ran out of time, he still had his hand on the cannonball and hadn't properly let go. But definitely showed that he's capable of making it far on these courses. Very excited to see how Sebastian does on the challenge course.
Yes, and we can see Franciszek's name back on the board. I'm not sure if he will be receiving a rerun or what is a result of that. Perhaps it's just a small typo, but either way, we will either be moving on to Franciszek again or Adrian Araujo, a big name competitor.
And it looks like we're moving on to Adrian.
Absolutely.
Adrian showed up at my home gym, Level Up, to compete in the international qualifier and showed a lot of speed. Not only that, but he made it to stage 3 off of strongest ninja points at the World Championship. We're looking at the 19th strongest adult ninja in the world.
That is a phenomenal feat that only 18 other people in this world can say at the moment. Adrian moving through and now coming into swinging.
Oh, I love the move.
This is just that experience, Kane. Adrian comes in spades with the technique and the strength. 20 seconds here on the clock. This is definitely one of our fastest runs to this point.
And this could be our first clear, Jack. I don't want to jinx it, but he's only got
Can
that
he get up the
15-foot
wall?
warp wall. Yes!
He gets it!
Adrian Araujo is
Kane.
our first clear of the day.
We have
Rushing
waited
the placement course in 41 seconds.
so many phenomenal competitors have come into True Function Ninja here today to try and complete this course, and Adrian Araujo is going to be our first. I mean, he threw down a phenomenal time, just saving so much time with those incredible techniques up that warped wall in a time that we have not seen any competitor come close to so far.
And there we have Adrian at the top of the leaderboard. Our only clear so far, but we still do have 1 or 2 runners left. So it could change as we take
can be
it back
happy at this
to
point.
Arthur Messiaen.
Arthur is now going to know what the standard is. He is going to need a completion. If he wants that top spot, he's one of our last seeded competitors, and you can see why. He is flying through this course. He's thought about it. He's seen what the other competitors have been doing. And is he going to follow what Araujo just did? No, he's not.
Arthur was
very
the
fast.
regional champion of France in the young adult division last season, and you can see why. He's moving very efficiently, and look at how calm he is. You see a lot of focus, but you also see that even with the little slip up that he had on the floating boards, he's not letting himself get phased, and he's still got 10 seconds left, two-stepping the balance pipes, and it looks like we're about to get our second clear. A great run, a primal roar right there as Arthur hits the buzzer in 41 seconds as well. That might be first place. It's less than a second separating Adrian and Arthur. It's 0.19 seconds behind Adrian.
Oh, well, regardless, Arthur can be incredibly happy with that run. He saw what Adrian had just thrown down. and now he has made a run, the fastest we've seen through those balance beams. He literally took one step on each beam, just showing his dominance here and celebrating with a nice flip there, showing his athleticism. He's going to be one to watch on that challenge course.
And there we have it.
Yeah.
41.03 for Adrian, 41.21 for Arthur. Our Frenchmen have filled the top two. Very excited to see.
And of
how
course, we've
things
got Alex
pan out.
Doyle as well in that top four at the moment. Alex Doyle just throwing down an incredible run and showing up these younger ninjas with his strength that is going to be one to watch in this challenge course, because we have to remember, whilst you go fast on the placement course, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go the furthest on that challenge course. But Adrian and Arthur are looking to be the ones to watch at the moment.
Absolutely. And also, I mean, you can't rule out, honestly, those, if you look at 4th through 8th place, we've got Jack Andrews, and, currently sitting in 4th. 4th is good enough to make it to the finals, but we'll see what happens on the challenge course. But then we've got Abramo Zancanella coming out of Italy, Lars Meyer coming out of Germany, and also somewhere within that range as well is Franciszek from Poland. We've got a lot of top athletes from these different countries all throwing their hat in the ring right now. And I don't think it's going to be as clean cut as we think, Jack. I think we're going to see a 10 to 12 person dogfight for these top 4 spots.
Well, I hope so. I hope we see a dogfight for those top 4, because honestly, that's what we're all here to see. We've got 18 phenomenal competitors, and I believe, from my understanding, we're just gearing up for our final runner of today, and that'll get our final taster of what can be expected. But Kane, if there's one thing we've learned over this time, it's that anything can happen on the challenge course. It's a completely different kind of beast. And so even the first runner can go on to go the furthest, fastest. So we'll have to wait and see.
Absolutely. We saw in the preteen division way back in the beginning of the season, world champion of the preteen division, Charlie Ball, had a shocking fall on the placement course, went second on the challenge course, and still ended up winning and qualifying for finals. Now, I do want to look at some runs here. I want to get Adrian's run pulled up. Adrian, our first and fastest clear of the day. At first, we weren't sure that it was entirely possible. Honestly, Jack, I was a little skeptical, but Adrian
was
made
a tough one.
Huge moves. Taking a look at how he attacked that pipe, one grab and a swing right off. That is where he saved crucial seconds.
Yeah, that was pure genius to get him into that top spot. And we thought if someone was going to finish, they would finish maybe with 1 second to go. But Kane, one of my favorite competitors here today is Alec Doyle, and I would love to take a look at his run. He didn't quite get the entire completion, but I think he blew us out of the water here by securing that top 3 spot at the moment. He is right up there as a force to be reckoned with. You can see he's got lock-off strength like crazy, and for a more technical challenge course, that's going to really play to his advantage.
I really loved watching Alex run. You could see the IQ come into play. It didn't look like he was rushing, but he was still moving efficiently, and that's why it landed him a spot in the top 3 right now. One other athlete I did want to pay attention to was Lars Meyer. Lars came in with a lot of control. There were a lot of different grips on this course, and he was comfortable through it all. Just maybe got himself a little twisted up on the course, but looked very calm. And I think that type of poise on the course is going to be huge for the
Absolutely
for the challenge course. I love the risks that we're
that
seeing taken as well. Yeah, you could tell that he just grabbed a little low there, but I do think that the challenge course is a great place to take some risks. It can also be a bit of a dangerous place to take some risks. So why don't we go over why that challenge course could be good for risks? What's the challenge course like here, Jack? What's our format, and how are our athletes going to qualify?
Yeah, so we can see here coming into the challenge course, the biggest change, Kane, is that it's going to be a longer course so that athletes get some retries. So there are a maximum of 2 retries allowed for the entire course. This is a huge innovation for the World Ninja League, and what it allows us to see is these athletes try and innovate and take huge risks. So you can fall once per obstacle and a maximum of 2 retries for the entire course. And it's really important to understand, Kane, that so many of our athletes have fallen in the past and have still gone on to win the entire challenge course.
Absolutely. So, in short, guys, do not fail the same obstacle twice. Do not fail 3 different obstacles. Go for that buzzer, and you will do well on the challenge course. Very excited to see. The top 4 amateur males will advance to the Premier Series finals. Meanwhile, we have Gwen out of France in the amateur female division. I do want to take a little look at her run as well. Gwen is the only athlete in her division today, and that means we're not going to be giving out freebies. She's going to have to beat the first 3 obstacles of the challenge course in order to qualify for the finals. Now, I think she showed full capability of doing so on the placement course. I have a lot of confidence in her abilities. So hopefully, we'll see her join the top 4 amateur males in the finals by the end of the day.
Absolutely. And it is worth noting that in past divisions, we have seen people struggle to get that final 3 obstacles. And it's quite a sticking point for those smaller divisions that we have had throughout this series. So only time will tell.
Absolutely. Now, in terms of our athletes, we're incredibly thankful for them for showing up today, but we're also very thankful for our sponsors as well. Shout out to NinjaWorks, the ultimate ninja timing system. They've been powering the Premier Series, the World Championship, and so many other World Ninja League events for years past and for years to come. To Carl and the NinjaWorks team, thank you so much. If you guys are interested in finding out more about how NinjaWorks timing operates, you can check out ninjaworks.com. Another big sponsor we want to thank is DGS Ninja, because while NinjaWorks powers our timing system, DGS creates our obstacles for the World Championship, and you'll find a lot of DGS obstacles over on dgsninja.com for you to buy and put in your gym. Lots of DGS obstacles showing up in a lot of different qualifiers, including many Premier Series qualifiers. Not only that, but DGS has sponsored our 2023 Elite Female World Champion, Addie Herman. She got to compete last month in Texas and has punched her ticket to the finals. And we're very grateful for DGS providing opportunities for athletes like Addie to continue to pursue her career as a sponsored athlete.
That's absolutely right, Kane. And now we've got 2 more videos that we would like to play you of our incredible sponsors. The first we're going to play is from an incredible young man who's created Ocean Needs Everyone. It's a video we've been playing all throughout, and we're just going to line that one up for you right now.
Ocean Needs Everyone is celebrating 5 years of saving the oceans. My name's Enzo, and through Ocean Needs Everyone, I help save the ocean by doing beach cleanups, CO and mangrove plantings, making art about recycled plastic, and making films regarding the ocean's health. How can you help save the oceans at home? Well, even if you don't live near an ocean, trash can end up in there eventually, so cut down on your use of single-use plastics. If you see trash on the roads or beaches, make sure to pick it up. Use less gas-powered vehicles, fish responsibly, and help support local organizations. I started my organization when I was 12 years old because I wanted to make a difference. So remember, you're never too young to follow your dreams and make a change. Let's all save our oceans together, one piece of trash at a time.
Again, Electric Enzo there putting on a phenomenal video for us. And now we're going to throw to perhaps what is one of my favorite advertisements for slap chalks. If you're looking for chalk, this is the place to go, and we're going to throw up a video now for you.
Has this ever happened to you? Where's my chalk bag? Ooh, I have a solution for that. Slap chalks! You take the chalk ball, put it in the mesh pocket, zip it up, slap, and get your chalk. Slap chalks are made right here in Springdale, Arkansas at Interform, the small batch manufacturing company. We're helping our community and providing local jobs to minorities and women of diverse backgrounds. I'm Joseph Rao, Ninja Warrior, Rock Climber, and the CEO of Slap Chalks.
Thanks so much to both Enzo and Joseph for sponsoring the Premier Series, both of which have actually advanced to the Premier Series finals as well. So very excited to see how their journeys continue November 17th to 19th at Fair Oaks Athletics in Brooklyn, New York. But first, we have to see who's filling these final spots in the Premier Series finals. Be sure to tune in with us in just under 2 minutes as we will be continuing with the challenge course. And the action does not end after the challenge course, Jack. What else do we have today?
Oh, we just have the biggest lineup ahead of us. Not only do we have the teens, but we have the long-awaited elite division, both of which are going to be just as stacked as what we've seen here in this amateur division. Of course, we're looking for the top 4 ninjas in this European region, and we're going to be searching for them both in the teens and the elites at 2 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. later here today.
Very excited. You're not going to want to miss it. Teens and elites always have electrifying moments, and we cannot wait to see what runs and what clips we're going to get. We've had some incredible saves, some incredible techie moves, and I wouldn't put it past the teens and elite to deliver on that today. I also wouldn't put it past the amateur division as we're about to come into the challenge course now. Curious as
Yeah,
to
the amateur
how the
division.
course has been adjusted.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Kane, every single time, every single day, every single new division that we step up into, we see the course get even more difficult. And just when you thought it was tough enough, when you said, this is enough for our ninjas, at every division, it's going to be changed and it's going to be made more difficult. And I'm sure for the amateurs, we're going to get a taste of that as soon as Gwen steps onto the course, who has been such a phenomenal athlete here today. She made it all the way through the majority of that placement course, and I'm excited to see how she fares on the challenge course here, Kane. I'm sure she's going to do very well.
I agree. She does have to beat the first three obstacles to qualify for finals, and looking at these obstacles, I'm pretty confident she can beat it. If you take a look at the back left, you can see a cannonball on that slider. Originally for the younger divisions, there were rings, but it looks like the holds have been swapped out to challenge our amateurs more. And then not far past that was originally a rope traverse. However, now we can see some tiny rope holds with some cliff ledges. That was the hanging alley for the younger divisions. That was on the back half of the course, and it looks like we might be catching that obstacle on the front half for this course, Jack.
Well, all exciting changes there, Kane. And what I'm really excited for is just to see what changes in regards to how the competitors will have to adapt their style. Unfortunately, they won't be able to learn from those younger divisions that we've seen, and they're really going to have to come into this one blind. And that's what the placement course was so important for determining. If you're up first, if your name is Luke Norris or Christo Home or James Cooper, or of course Billy Dixon, you're going to be some of the first competitors facing these later obstacles. And you're essentially going to be showing all the other ninjas a tutorial of how to do it. And it's a huge advantage that the later seeded competitors have.
Absolutely. There's going to be quite a lot of quite an intense battle, and something that we saw from our athletes in the challenge course yesterday was that they're going to have to put the pressure on very early if they want a shot at advancing to the finals. We saw none other than our first runner of the day, Romeo Land, in the mature kids division, mature kids male. He was the first runner, and he made it very deep into the course, managed to snag a top four spot and advance to the finals. But that's because he put the pressure on for the rest of our athletes, and they just couldn't keep up. That's what some of these earlier athletes are going to have to do as we have an even larger field in the amateur male division.
Yeah, that's a really great point that you've raised there, Kane, because if Luke Norris can come out and just blow everyone out of the water, they might just kind of crumple under those expectations that he's going to put on these other competitors here. I think it will be interesting to see how many obstacles we have available and how far these ninjas will have to go in order to secure a buzzer. But we've seen in other competitions across the last eight to 10 weeks that some of the best athletes have come in these initial stages and have just gone in to secure a top four spot. So I wouldn't put it past any of these early seeded competitors here today. And what we can see is just looking at this lineup, again, 18 competitors for 4 spots. That to me is a difficult ask, which is we really are going to see a dogfight, particularly in the last 12 competitors who made it far into that placement course and who threw down great times. We've seen mistakes all throughout from some of these competitors. I'm sure Luke Norris and Christo Home, who came out on that obstacle too, weren't expecting to fall off there and were expecting to go a lot further. So I wouldn't put it past them to see them go all the way through these obstacles here on this challenge course. For those of you who are just tuning in, remember that they will get 2 retries. And this is a World Ninja League first. It's not something that we've necessarily seen before, and it completely revolutionizes the format. And what we're going to see is a lot of beta breaks as well. People are going to be wanting to take those risks. They're going to have ideas in their mind. Even just recently, in one of our most recent competitions, we saw in the elite division, people just skip the entire last obstacle and lash A onto the landing platform to end up securing the victory. So all these retries and all these opportunities for beta breaks are possible with this new format, which is really exciting.
Absolutely. And you know what? The beta is going to be even trickier on this challenge course as I just received information from our very good friend Billy Dixon. Uh, the pole graspers, which you'll find right behind the leaderboard graphic or the run order graphic here, they are now hands only. You are not allowed to use your feet on that.
Ooh.
And the gaps between that third and fourth pole are pretty wide. This is not something that you see commonly on pole graspers. So how you can properly approach that, what the beta is going to be determined by our earlier athletes as well. That's going to be a tricky one.
Yeah, and not being able to use your feet there is just going to add to the forearm burn. I mean, those are taxing as is, even when you have your feet available. So to have to always be hanging off of those, if you get stuck on there, Kane, for too long, you're going to be in a bit of strife coming into the back end of the course.
Absolutely, especially coming into those spinning discs. You can see that blue disc, while it does whip you around quite a bit, it's also now higher above the red disc. That drop is something that could be pretty brutal if you've spent your upper body strength a little too long. If you've hung on for a little too long, you could be looking at some trouble.
And Kane, do we have a rough idea of the time limits here for this course? Are you aware of those?
I am not aware of the time limit, but yesterday our kids and mature kids had a time limit of 4 minutes.
Okay.
Clears were well within that time limit as well. I believe some of our clears were under 3 minutes. So I do think that as long as our athletes remain efficient and don't really let up too much, even with a couple retries here and there, they'll be able to hit that buzzer, especially because the skill level here is so incredibly high.
Absolutely. And what scares me, Kane, is that they might be pushing the time limit even more for these competitors. If the younger divisions were getting those clears in that adequate time, if there's one thing that we've learnt, it's that they always want to be pushing these amateur divisions. I mean, we just saw with the placement course, it was 45 seconds. We only saw two clears there, and I think they're going to be going for a similar standard. So we've seen these later competitors have phenomenal speed here. And so I'm excited to see how they fare against a course that could arguably have one of the most demanding time limits we've seen all series. And it's important to remember at the end of the day, Kane, they've got a huge amount on the line because this is an opportunity to secure a top four spot in Brooklyn, New York later in November.
Absolutely. We've already taken the best of the best for the Premier Series, and now we're going to find the best of the best of the best a month from now. And there's
It's
a
scary
lot
to
at
think
stake
about.
here.
It is genuinely the most exciting prospect to think that in just a month's time we will all be gathered together to see the top 32 competitors from across the globe battle it out for the top spot. All invitation only, and then another exclusive selection process through these top four spots. We are really looking for the strongest ninja and the fastest and best ninja, just all round.
And again, the amateur division, we were talking before we went live. The amateur division excites me the most because you're taking three different divisions from the regular season, merging them into
Mm.
one, and you have heavyweights from every single group all battling. It genuinely goes from, oh, there are 5 or 6 people who could really do it, to I think right now we're looking at 12 to 13 athletes who still very much have a shot at the top four.
Yeah, and if you just think of the age range of these competitors, you're talking 13 years old right through to 49 years old that we've seen with Alec Doyle, who is our third last seeded competitor at the moment. So anything can happen on any given day in this amateur division. And that's honestly what makes it one of the best ones to watch. It's why we have so many incredible, dedicated viewers here today cheering on. And I think the French are looking to take this one home based on what we've seen so far here.
Definitely a very strong possibility. Loving to see how active the French community has gotten in Ninja. It's grown so much and they've learned so much, especially from their trip to the World Championship. I've been following their endeavors ever since this past June, and they've started to build a lot more custom holds and original obstacles to really prepare themselves and put themselves at the next level of competition.
Absolutely. And, when you speak of those individuals who have both made it to stage three, Jack Andrews and Adrian Arujo, both in our top four at the moment, they are feared competitors. Because when you're making it to stage three, I cannot even emphasize how big of an achievement that is to be able to do. And It's really great to see these international competitors just absolutely crushing it on the US and world stage.
I agree, Jack. If you've made it to stage 3, you've made it in Ninja, period. It doesn't matter what competition you're in, where you're from, what you're doing. If you've made stage 3, you're going where very few athletes have gone before. And it's incredibly exciting to watch a stage 3 run because it's really a chess match. It is about your upper body strength, but it's about how do you get through these obstacles with enough energy to tackle the rest. And not only is that how you attack a stage 3, but that's how you should be approaching this coming challenge course.
Absolutely. And I think just knowing that these individuals have this kind of experience, it gives me confidence that when they come over to the US in a month and they compete it out on that world stage in those top 32 spots, they're going to perform extremely well. And I think any one of these individuals here today could go extremely far, not only in this qualifier, but in the Premier Series finals, which is what we've been building up to for such a long time now. And we can actually see here, just one thing worth clarifying is we weren't quite sure where Franciszek was going to fit into this lineup, and it looks like he's going to be 10th on the amateur male division, which is exciting.
And it also looks like in the chat we had a slight, not necessarily a correction, as I do believe we're saying Franciszek correctly, but it looks like he also goes by the nickname Franek Glavaki.
Franek Glavaki.
Taking out a couple syllables there. Yeah.
I like that. Thank you, chat, for identifying that for us. And I think I'm genuinely excited to see Gwen's run. And I think we're just having a few little minor delays, just doing a final few checks. But hopefully we're going to get underway very soon. We thank you all for tuning in during this time and building up the excitement of what is going to be a phenomenal division. It's really only going to get more exciting from here, Kane. The placement course is just the appetizer. And now everything is on the line because this is where it truthfully counts. This is where the results are established.
And it looks like we're about to get the ball rolling with Gwen as she's sizing up the course right now.
Gwen, of course, our only amateur female competitor here today. We've reiterated multiple times she will need to complete the first 3 obstacles. Just talking with her French competitors there. Gwen, age 23, now moving into the challenge course. And we are getting our first taster, Kane. And part of that is the 3:15 on the clock. That is going to be demanding.
And you know what? I think that's a lot more reasonable. If they had the 4 minutes on the clock, I think we'd see a lot of clears with a lot of time left. I think this 3:15 is going to push our athletes a lot more.
Well, Gwen is looking good here. She's just got to get the dismount, and then this will secure her spot in the Premier Series finals. So we will see Gwen later in November, but that's not where her mind is set on, Kane. She's looking for a completion here.
Of course. Congratulations to Gwen, absolutely. But we're looking at this massive fly lache right now, and that is the task in front of Gwen right now.
Yeah, that is quite the distance. You can see it's a double body length for her, but
Great
technique
move
all around. This is a phenomenal run. Gwen just showing up in spades in the female division here.
Still has 2 minutes, 5 seconds left on the clock, and she's about halfway through this course, making great time so far, Jack.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a finish here. Our only amateur female competitor, but just showing why she's one of the best, and she's going to be a feared competitor in the Premier Series finals later in November as she begins the assault on this incredible obstacle, the Globe Grasper. Tough on the grip strength.
Looking very calm, breathing through it, and starting to skip on the descent. Now has to come up to the pole grasper. As I did mention earlier, this is arms only. You can see Dion squeezing his hands, indicating that you cannot use your feet on this obstacle. A big difference from our younger divisions and this amateur division.
Yeah, we can see there that you need that lock off. She's hanging for dear life here. She will have a retry in the bank if she needs it here. Oh no! Going
she's
for the
going to have to use it, but still showing a good technique here. Getting a little lower on the pole, it can be risky. You don't want to tap your feet down, but at the same time, that grabbing a little lower means that your body isn't swinging into the pole. Now, we might have had a misclick on the timer here as we see that her time's been reset. We're
going to
still
continue.
going.
We're going to go into the blind here a little bit, but Gwen is now beginning her second attempt. You can see the hand sliding there, and she's going down the bottom.
Grip.
Oh, Gwen has put on a run for us here, Kane. Without a doubt, a phenomenal athlete that we are going to see in the Premier Series finals in November. What an exciting one.
That was so smooth out of Gwen. That lache, I mean, that looks like a pretty big gap, and she made that look easy. And then we see her effortlessly get through the Globe Grasper, putting her directly into the Premier Series finals. We'll see her represent France once again in Brooklyn.
And we can see here just getting it cleaned, making sure it's nice, and see the man of the hour. What a great technique. That's very satisfying. Cleaning off those. And now it looks like we're going to be moving into the amateur male division, Kane. This is where it gets really exciting. We have 18 competitors here. We've got to whittle them down to 4. And Kane's words are ones that I'm going to keep using now. It's going to be a dogfight as Luke Norris, the Star Wars man, the man of the hour, is going to be stepping up first.
Now, Luke slipped up on the nunchuck on the placement course. I am a little alarmed for what that means for him, as these first 3 obstacles do include various holds. Well, no problem on that cannonball.
Yeah, he definitely didn't get to... Oh, did we see a mistake there?
I think his feet might have touched down behind the platform, and now he's going to have to use one of his retries.
Well, luckily he's got another one after this if he needs it. He cannot use 2 retries on the same obstacle, though. So if he falls here, he will be eliminated for good. A bit of an abrupt start here, Kane, but hopefully he can recover.
Definitely had the grip. I just think he mistimed that dismount. And little careless mistakes like that can really come back to haunt you, but he's fine. He's onto the hanging alley. But again, these vertical grips is what took him out.
Yeah, he's going for that grip. Those are demanding on the forearms, but Luke Norris looking strong so far. But now coming into the fly lache, this is the distance. He's got to fly here, truthfully.
I'm wanting to know the distance of this lache. It looks like it could be 2.5 to 3 meters apart.
Yeah, that is a tough lache. Now just looking for the dismount. Luke Norris is clearly someone who can fly. And now coming into the shuriken flip. This hopefully isn't going to be an obstacle that throws out too many ninjas. More so just a speed obstacle. But now coming into Globe Grasper, again just demanding a great deal of these ninjas. He's just trying to wipe off the sweat on his hands, I believe.
Definitely shouldn't be wiping off the shoes. Hopefully he's just drying his hands because he's not going to need his feet for the next few obstacles. Going with a hand-over-hand technique on the Globe Grasper. I'm not sure if this is the move, Jack. He's kind of...
Yeah, it's going to cost him in the grips, in the lock-off department. That's for sure.
Well, not only that, but his hands could almost knock the other out of place. He does get through, but he has ticked away a bit of his time now. 1:38 left on the clock.
Now, we just saw Gwen come unstuck here on the pole grasper, Kane. So this is definitely one of the tougher obstacles. They're only allowed to use their upper body, and you could just see him slipping there. Oh, and Luke Norris, that's his second attempt, so he's going to be out of attempts. We'll get another go at it here, but just showing how slippery those are.
Yeah, taking out the use of the feet on this obstacle adds a whole new dimension of difficulty to the pole graspers. And you can just see how much he's sliding. He doesn't seem to slide as much on the red portion, but unfortunately Luke just a little too tall and touches down there. Perhaps grabbing onto the red might be the move, but still, Luke setting the blueprint for our amateur males.
Yeah, Luke could be really happy with that run. I mean, you're coming in first into an unknown course, and a lot of the other ninjas are going to be watching on cautiously, now knowing that they're really going to have to grip those poles if they want to make it through. And it's an obstacle that traditionally, you had your feet for. It's not one that we've seen where you're just allowed to use your arms, but those are the innovations as we move through further and further into this sport and just only invite the best of the best. We make it harder. Now, Christo Home, another individual who came out a little bit early, age 31 from Bristol. He came out on the second obstacle again, Kane, but hopefully looking to go further here in this challenge course.
We saw that vertical grip, that nunchuck, take him out on the placement course, and now we're back to vertical grips on Hanging Alley. Seems to get a firm grip this time, perhaps because he can position it so.
It looks like he's going for the above grab.
You know, it's legal as long as you're not touching that strap. And it's working.
He's looking good. Definitely having to fight here.
And he's onto the fly lache.
Now, this is proving to be one of my favorite obstacles. Just seeing these ninjas just absolutely having to send it here, go all out on this grab.
And he just falls a little short. You know what, Jack? It's underrated, these types of moves. These big dynamic moves, especially in the middle of a course, can either really tax you for the future or already have you taxed and exhaust you by the time you're there. It looks like Christo might be struggling a little bit, but he gets it the second time around, just has to get that dismount.
Absolutely. Now the dismount should be no troubles here. Christo Home came out on the second obstacle in the placement course, but clearly going much further now, Kane. And he's got that second retry in his back pocket if he needs it. Now coming into Globe Grasper. We've seen a few different techniques here today with this one, and it will be interesting with 1 minute 55 on the clock what approach Christo is going to take.
He's also going hand over hand, or at least to start. Is he going to try and pop his right hand out? He bumps it, and he's going one at a time with a quick bump technique.
Potentially not as fast as a swing through approach, but it is going to work for him as he begins his descent on the Globe Graspers.
And quick dismount. Now, he's not as fast as Luke to this point, if I'm not mistaken. So Christo is going to have to beat the pole grasper if he wants to better his position on the leaderboard.
Absolutely. No, I think we're going to see, with 18 competitors here today, getting past the pole grasper is going to be essential. You can see the hand slipping there.
His feet are so close to the bottom. He's working his way back up. I really like this technique. And down he goes, but he still has a second retry. And Jack, I think I was right. When his hand was on the red, it seemed to slide a lot less. Perhaps that section is taped up or just made out of a different material. But
we did see Gwen go down the bottom, so that could be why.
That's true. She did make it pretty far from there. Something else that we saw Gwen do was immediately jump to the second pole. Haven't seen that yet out of our athletes today.
Now Christo beginning to go back up, get some height here. But this last pole grab is the biggest one and arguably the most difficult. As he just can't quite get there. That is a tough obstacle, and Christo Home can be very proud of that run. Doing well for Britain here today, and it's a run worth celebrating.
Absolutely. He made it all the way to the 7th obstacle. Not an easy feat to do on any course, let alone a Premier Series challenge course. Definitely has a lot to be proud of today.
Absolutely, and I think this course is proving to be an extremely difficult one here today, Kane. It's following a similar format to the placement course, where we're seeing these early ninjas struggle a little bit, but hopefully as we move through the caliber of athletes, we're going to start to see some finishes, as we have James Cooper there next in the lineup as he begins his run. I believe from memory he came out on the 4th obstacle or 5th obstacle potentially of that placement course.
That is correct. We're now at our athletes who fell on the floating boards in the placement course. James moving very aggressively, and that's something that I was thinking about a lot. Perhaps now we could end up seeing a race to the pole grasper to ensure a higher spot on the leaderboard, because it's not a guarantee that you can beat it.
Well, this is a scary prospect. James's one-arm swing through is phenomenal there. But now the question is, Kane, can he fly? And that's what the fly lache is going to help us find out here as he gears up for what is potentially a 3 to 3.5 meter lache. Gearing up here for this lache. Does he have the distance?
He undershoots it. You know, he had the proper release. He released at the right time, but he whipped his legs and hips back a little too early, and that forced his swing to stop. He's going to have to just pull through. As the name implies, he's going to have to fly.
He's got a good swing
And he
here, but
just
no!
undershoots it. That's going to do it for James Cooper.
Smile on his face, though. He's happy. He's had a good time here today. James Cooper coming out on that fourth obstacle. He had a great performance there on those first few obstacles, but unfortunately just couldn't get the distance there. He had a little bit of an awkward swing there, Kane, and I think that's what cost him that distance.
I agree. His legs just seem to stop. And you know what? When you're trying to link cliches, that is a good technique. But that gap might be a little too big for you to take that approach. You might just have to fully commit to it and push through. Now we'll see if Billy Dixon has learned anything from these runs and the runs earlier yesterday when he was on commentary.
Billy has been doing everything this weekend, a phenomenal commentator and now a phenomenal athlete, aged 15 years old, stepping into this ninja world with not too much experience, but showing us that he's a force to be reckoned with as he now goes into Hanging Alley. Does he have the grip strength? That is the question.
Grip is definitely something Billy is very well versed in. As you can see, he's going one-handed on those cliffs, or was earlier. Now he comes up to the fly lache. This is where his skills are going to be put to the test. He's been working hard on his laches. He sent me clips of his training, and he's been on the grind. But this distance, he nails it.
He made it look too easy there.
Yes, he does. And now he's onto the shuriken flip.
Billy Dixon putting that lache to shame. That was way too easy for him. He could have gone much further there. As Billy now comes into the Globe Grasper. He's commentated, he's learned from the younger divisions, and it's clear he's putting this to practice. Kane, what a run we're seeing here from Billy.
Oh, maybe grabbed a little bit too far on the edge there. And it looks like he's going to change his technique in the middle of his run to allow a skip there. Great hand placement as he tries to hop off. Making incredible work so far. I believe this might actually be the fastest to the pole grasper we've seen so far.
But the question is can he make it through this obstacle? This is the tough one. We haven't seen a ninja through this point yet. Can Billy Dixon, our commentator from yesterday, do good as he is slipping?
Oh my goodness, what a save! At the very bottom, he's grimacing, trying to raise his arms. He gets his hand on the last pole, but oh my goodness.
Billy is a fighter. We have to commend him there. What a fight there on these slippery poles. You can see it's such difficult obstacles.
Yeah, and you could see it in his face just how hard he had to fight to save that. He was almost an inch or less from hitting the ground. He was so close to coming off that pole. I do like the approach of jumping to the second, immediately reaching for the third, saving some energy. Billy Dixon, our first through the pole grasper, and now he's onto the double spinner.
Kane, Billy Dixon, the underrated ninja of this competition, is now setting the standard. Look at him go.
Look at this. He's going to get through the double spinner. Again, I talked about hand placement being even on that obstacle. It was very easy for Billy to get through that. Now just a 15-foot warped wall stopping him from being our challenge course finisher. He gets it. Jack, we've got our first clear of the day. Billy Dixon with a battle cry at the top of the wall. Congratulations to Billy. Time of 2 minutes, 32 seconds.
I mean, Billy did not have the placement course he was looking for, but it doesn't matter. He's had the challenge course run of a lifetime. 2 minutes 32 on the clock. He's happy. And boy, you just got to be happy for him here. He's had to fight for this opportunity. He's done so well on that lache with the flywheel. He was doing well there on Globe Grass, but had to have a few changes to his approach there. But then, of course, is now the first through the pole grabber. And I think if there's one thing he's shown us, Kane, is that going along the bottom is going to be the strategy.
Not only that, but he made maybe 3 moves on his second attempt on the pole grasper. He's he basically has shown how quickly you have to move through, because he was still getting a little bit of slippage there, but he moved fast enough to where it didn't matter.
Well, he can be super proud of that effort. He is going to be thrust into the top spot here today with 4 competitors being shown so far. But I do have some bad news for Billy, which is we have 14 more competitors to go as we now move on to our Italian competitor, Thomas Zancanella. He's going to be now looking to secure a top 4 spot, and he knows that he's likely going to need a finish here if he wants to do that. And having a bit of trouble here, I believe.
It looks like we're actually going to have to use a retry. I think Dion putting his hand up, he might have hurt himself.
I believe he's hurt his ankle there potentially on that step. It's at a steep angle, Kane, there, and if you just misplace your foot a little bit, it can cause a rolling of the ankle. We're just going to have to hope he's okay. I'm sure we'll get an update from as soon as we find out what the situation is there. But a really unfortunate exit there in our first obstacle.
Absolutely. Thomas, 12th overall on the Italian leaderboard, first in his division last regular season. A very surprising turn of events and a very unfortunate result on his challenge course there.
Absolutely. Thomas would not be happy with that run, and all we can do is just hope that he is okay here. And once we find out the situation, you can just see in the bottom left there that they're working to rectify it, hopefully get him on his feet, and hopefully the injury isn't too serious. We know our ninjas are battlers. They when they get knocked down, they get back up. That is for sure. But we can see there we've had previous injuries from previous competitions. It is the nature of the sport. It's a physically demanding one. We haven't seen too many big ones so far. A lot of people are able to overcome them. We've seen some interesting falls at the last competition that we had, but fingers crossed that he will be okay there, as that will push us through the first 5 competitors here, and with 13 to go, I guess the competition's only going to get more exciting from here.
Yeah, very, very wide variety of results here, and we can see Dion helping Thomas on the side of the screen there, walking off the course, getting some applause from the True Function family. And that's one of the great things about the sport. While you do put your body at risk on the course, it is you versus the course, and the athletes are always there to lift you up. A great community around the world. It's been present in the United States and Australia, and now we're seeing that same camaraderie in Europe as well.
Absolutely. And it's going to be an early exit for Thomas, but I believe that we have Abramo Zancanella as well. I'm not sure exactly of their relation, but I'm sure in some form they are related. So hopefully Abramo, one of our higher seeded competitors, can pick up where Thomas left off and do great for the Italians here today.
Taking a look at the leaderboard now, James Cooper is currently on the bubble. You have to make it past the Fly Lachey to land in the top 4 right now. I have a feeling that's going to be a cutoff point that's going to drastically change as we get deeper into our run order, Jack.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know if that is going to hold at the moment. I think we're really going to see these high-level competitors be pushed to their limits, but I'm really excited for Billy Dixon. If there's someone that I've got my fingers crossed for to hold on to that top 4 spot, Kane, it's Billy. But unfortunately, as he has gone early, he has also shown everyone how to move through those poles and showing people that this course can be complete relatively quickly. So
absolutely,
we'll
Billy is far from safe right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is the case. But I think regardless, Billy has shown us that he is a force to be reckoned with, and he's going to be a great competitor.
And you know what? Not only is Billy a competitor today, a commentator yesterday, but he's been a friend of mine for quite a long time. I remember meeting him online during the pandemic, and he was just a little kid who loved Ninja, and he wanted to jump into it. So words cannot describe how proud I am of that young man right there, getting his shot and hitting the buzzer on the challenge course. His goal, he told me, was don't get last, and he has destroyed that goal in spades.
Oh, you love to hear that. That is beautiful. As we move into Sebastian Star, hopefully he's going to be a star here on this course. He came out a little bit early on the 5th obstacle in the placement course, and I spoke too soon. Sebastian is going to be slipping there.
That jolt really took him off there. And you know what? We saw a lot of people take on this drop slider locked off. He was fully extended. So maybe he's just got to hold on a little more and allow his grip to really lock in.
Absolutely.
There we
now
go.
Gearing up for his second attempt. Looking good there.
Now he's going to move right into the hanging alley. Again, this was on the back half of the kids course. And now the third obstacle of the amateur division. I'd love to see how the stakes are raised constantly for our athletes here as Sebastian Starr comes up to the fly lache.
Yeah, Sebastian looking really strong here. And it looks like he's going to be able to fly. He's going to go well past this distance. So strong there on that lache. A great display of technique all around. And with 2:25 on the clock, this is good pace so far from Sebastian.
Now coming into the shuriken flip. And you can see that he's really just taking advantage of how big the tilting log at the bottom of those are. Not bothering to really run across when he can just shift his weight into a stable position on that obstacle.
Absolutely. And Sebastian does have a huge wingspan here, and it looks like he's going to be using that to his advantage. But it's always a tricky one when you get to this top point because you've got to make this transition across. He's building up a swing, and he gets it.
Just going to monkey bar on the descent. Big skip at the end there.
As he comes one thing that we have to take our hats off to is I believe Gwen has still been the only one that's just monkey barred the entire thing. Sebastian now using he's making this look very easy, Kane, to be truthful. So far, if he can build up the momentum.
As I said earlier, the higher you are up on the pole, the more your body swings into the pole on that last gap. And that's what Sebastian's struggling with right now. He's going to have to drop a little lower to get more mobility from his legs. And there's the reach that we need.
Yeah, Sebastian is looking so strong on those. It looked like he could have held on forever when we've just seen the last 5 competitors have to fight to be on those poles. It's a testament to just how strong Sebastian is. And now coming into the 15-foot warped wall with 55 seconds left on the clock, this is going to be a close call here for the top spot.
I believe he's got about 5 seconds to beat Billy's time.
Sebastian, can he get there? Can he hit the buzzer? And he does. 15-foot warped wall. He is gassed. 9 obstacles completed in 2:31. And I believe that could potentially knock out Billy Dixon off the top spot there, Kane.
I think it's within less than a second, Jack, which is, again, we said it was a dogfight. Goes to show just how difficult this is going to be.
This is just the beginning here, I believe. Sebastian Starr throwing down a great run here in the amateur male division. It could secure that top spot. He had great runs there on the poles. Only had one mistake throughout the entire run. And you can just see the joy on his face, knowing that whilst he didn't make it as far in the placement course, he made it when it mattered. And next we're going to see Julian Silarakis. And I think we're really starting to move into these later dominant-seeded competitors, Kane. And it's going to get scary.
Absolutely. I think Billy and Sebastian were the beginning of an upwards trend on this course. I don't think we're going to see with 12 athletes left, I don't think we're going to see 12 clears in a row. But I do think that the buzzer will be hit quite a bit in this division.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a doable course. It's one that's within the amateur division's capacities, and I think they're coming to discover that. So by the time we get to Adrian Arujo or Arthur Massan or Alec Doyle, they're going to be pushing this time really far down, because if these early stage athletes are completing with 45 seconds on the clock, we could be seeing potentially even sub 2 minutes if someone really pushed their luck and went all out here. So who knows? Only time is going to tell. We have 10 phenomenal athletes here, 4 spots, and Billy Dixon will hopefully secure a top 4 spot, but will potentially be on the bubble, as he still holds on to the top 4 time.
It looks like a timer glitch maybe on the obstacles, but It looks like
I
Sebastian
believe
Starr
Sebastian is
him
top.
out by 0.7 of a second, puts Sebastian into first place.
And that is the beginning of our hopeful wave of green. We can see there 2 completions and, of course, 6 competitors down. This is a very high completion rate so far, especially this early in the stages. But with 12 competitors to go, it's going to be an interesting one, Kane. And Billy there securing that second spot, Sebastian in the top spot. And some phenomenal athletes left to go. Christo Home and Luke Norris on the bubble at the moment with 6 obstacles to be finished. It's hard to say whether they will be able to hold on to those top 4 spots.
Very exciting to see. We have such a wide range of results right now, and it's just so mind-blowing that it's only going to get more and more intense. I was expecting this to happen maybe about halfway through the wave, not in our first 6 runs. As Julian Silarakis is now going to put the burners on, he's going to have to if he wants a shot at the top 4.
Yeah, as you mentioned at the start of this competition, Kane, if you're early in the seeded competition, you have to go fast in order to put the pressure on those later seeded competitors. Because if they know the time that they've got to beat, they can do it if it's within reason. But if you put that time pressure on them, they may push themselves, they may make mistakes. And Julian is going to fly through this obstacle and is flying through this course in general.
I love the way he landed on that second wheel. He tucked his legs in, and as he swung forward, he kicked his legs out to really carry that momentum. He has not even used a minute of his time. He's hit 45 seconds, and he's on obstacle 6.
Now, this is that kind of sub 2 minute pace that we've been pondering, which is it's potentially possible. Julian now taking a calm and collected approach. I mean, one thing we've got to say about this athlete is not only is he phenomenally strong, but also he is calm and collected, Kane. He doesn't look phased at all by this course.
Absolutely. Now here is what I would argue is the hardest obstacle on this course due to how slippery these poles are. Has to use his hands only. He's not really sliding at all.
That's what we like to see, Kane.
I like the match and grab there. By staying between 2 poles, he's allowing his body to maneuver freely before matching his hands onto one pole and reaching for the next.
And with 2 obstacles to go, he could attack this course with a sense of urgency here as he is hitting the fastest time we have seen so far. Coming into the 15-foot wall, Julian is now ready to go. It's 15 feet though. Can he make the distance?
Oh, he just falls a little short. But he's going to...
If he can get it, he could still be the fastest time.
Dusting off his Series 1s.
He's taking a breath.
There we go. What an incredible run. Time of 2 minutes.
Julian Silarakis, 2:08. The calmest 2:08 we have seen in a minute. He had so much character and was so smooth all throughout that run. You wouldn't even have guessed that he was going that fast. That's going to put him in the top spot by about 20 seconds here. A phenomenal run all around. One of the calmest, strongest ninjas we've seen here today. Representing France. They show up every single year at the World Cup and dominate. And he's now doing the same here in this Premier Series finals.
Julian had such a smooth run, and even with a slip up on the warped wall, put up an incredible time. That sub 2 minute that you were talking about, Jack, is incredibly likely.
Oh, now I'm going to have to change my number to a sub 145 if we're going to be really pushing it there. Julian, a great run. There's definitely space for optimization there. And again, we can see here, Julian, the times are a little bit out at the moment. Billy's just taking a little bit of preference here with having a bonus obstacle. But we can see that it's Julian in first place. And now another French competitor.
Branker Heinrich put up a great run on the placement course. One of our taller athletes, and it might come into play here with a good advantage on the globe grasper and the pole grasper. He's got to make it there first, though, through the hanging alley.
Absolutely, and speed is now becoming a core component of this challenge course. It's rare to say, to be truthful. Usually the challenge course is one that is very taxing on the forearms, but these phenomenal ninjas here today are just flying through it. And Brancaire showing
Wow.
us that that was great technique.
What an incredible backswing. He elevated so high. Oh, tripped a little bit, but he's good.
Brancaire is going to be a feared athlete coming into this, and he has potential here to secure a top 4 spot if he can keep on this pace. And wow, now he's using his long arms to their full extent here, Kane.
And skipping 2 right there. Not
That is
a problem
unfair.
at all.
He is using his body to the fullest, and it looks like he's going to go straight for that 2nd to 3rd pole, making these look easy. 2
Again,
minutes
that
10
wingspan.
on the clock.
That wingspan is incredible. And he links through to that second disc, hops right off, and all he's got now is the 15-foot warped wall.
Brancaire now gearing up for not only the fastest time, but the most dominant time we have seen in a while here. A minute 50 on the clock. That is gonna give him a
126.
126.
Oh,
Literally.
all right, so now we go for sub 120.
Kane, what is going on here? We just said maybe 2 minutes would be possible, but Brancaire has finished that entire course in a minute and 26 seconds. I hope that sinks in for everyone at home at just how fast. He completed 9 obstacles, everyone. 9 obstacles in a minute 26. That is phenomenal.
That was one of the smoothest runs I've seen in a while. These Europeans came to play. Already have 4 buzzers on the leaderboard, which also sets the pressure now. Billy Dixon on the bubble, Sebastian Starr just a second ahead of him. You are going to have to hit the buzzer on this course if you want to go to the Premier Series finals. No one is safe.
Absolutely. And if you average out Brancaire's time there, it's less than 10 seconds on every single obstacle. That to me is phenomenal. And now we're gearing up with 15-year-old Lars Meyer. He's got his work cut out for him because this division is quickly becoming one of the most demanding ones that we have seen. Not only does it call for great strength, but it calls for extreme levels of pace. Lars Meyer has the strength. Does he have the pace? And that's what we're going to find out now.
We have France, Israel, Canada, Australia, the UK, and the United States all represented at the Premier Series finals. Could Lars Meyer put Germany into the fold?
Well, we'd hope to see it. We have so many competitors here today from Germany, Poland, Italy, France, of course, and UK. So hopefully we get to see Germany in the mix here. Lars making that lache look like his bread and butter. No troubles whatsoever. But now he's got the back end of this course, and he just has a big time that he needs to make sure he matches.
He's moving with a lot of urgency, but from what I've seen so far, he looks very calm. Doesn't look very fazed by anything. Yeah, look at that.
Absolutely.
Just casual stroll in the park through the globe grasper for Lars.
Yeah, Lars is looking at this course like, is this it? This is his playground, to be honest, at the moment. He's having no troubles. He's honestly making this look like he's going for a walk in the park. As Lars now gears up on the pole grasper, it'll be interesting to see how he navigates this one, because this one is tough.
Reaches right out for the third pole after jumping to the second. And he's sliding a little bit, but he gets through.
Did he just one-arm the final pole there, or did
Yes,
I
he
just
did.
miss that?
Nope, we both saw that correctly. Now, he's wiping his hands off a lot, and I understand the concern, but at the same time, his time is a bit of a factor here. He's going to have to get through this quickly. Uh-oh. We've also
Kane,
got...
this is what you were talking about. If you don't have your hands exactly opposite to one another, you can lose a bit of time here. Lars, a minute 20 on the clock, going straight into the warped wall, using his height to his advantage here. He's going to get that buzzer, and we are just seeing a stream of green at the moment. Lars Meyer, 2:01 on the clock. That is going to throw him into second place, I believe. A phenomenal run. One of the smoothest I think I've ever seen, Kane.
I agree. He made it look so effortless as he just sailed right through that fly lache. What an incredible grab, so high up on the wheel there. And again, there's that one-handed swing off the pole that you were talking about.
Yeah, and I really hope we see him in that Premier Series finals spot. I hope we see him in the top 4, because what he's shown there is not only he's representing Germany, but also that he just has phenomenal levels of strength. He genuinely made that course look easy. Glowacki? Remember?
Slovaki.
Glowacki. Franek
Yes.
Glowacki, representing Poland here. A phenomenal athlete that we saw in the placement course, and now just showing us a little bit of his technical prowess. Let's see how he goes on the back end of this course. The timer doesn't seem to be going for us, so we will be going blind into this run at the moment, but he is looking great so far.
Great maneuverability out of Franek as he's coming up to the shuriken flip. Not a problem whatsoever. Just quick strides right through and not wasting a second. He just walked right up to the globe grasper, and there's the skips that we were looking for. Haven't seen too many people do that yet, but I do think that this is the most efficient way through the obstacle.
Absolutely. I mean, when we saw Brunker just set a phenomenal run, remember 126 is the time to beat here. Poland coming in spades here with Franek just flying through this course, and he's just gonna go for
interesting.
it.
Well,
Changing
now
this game, but
he's got himself
is
spinning
costing
around
game.
a bit. Oh, there we go. He steadies himself out, has control of the disc, and lands that dismount. Running up to the warp
This-
wall.
Can he get it first go? This could be a phenomenal run if he can. Franek going up the wall, gonna hit the buzzer with a phenomenal time that we will have to see in the post-production phases. We will find out very soon, but Kane, that to me was a fast run.
It was a very fast run. I would not be surprised if that throws him in the top 4. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that was sub 2 minutes.
That is feeling like a top 2 run there if I've ever seen it. Franek just flying through there, representing Poland and potentially securing himself a run that is capable of putting him in the top 4. I mean, we just saw that technical display being put on full show here on this course, just flying through every part of this course, a flawless run all around.
And that was definitely something. We're going to have to see what his official time is and where he ends up on the leaderboard. Now, not only are we going to have to wait to see how our athletes do on the leaderboard, but how Franek's time is going to shake up the rest of the leaderboard. We're just as in the dark as you are right now, folks, but when we have that update, we will provide you with it.
Absolutely, and it's just once again, just looking at Bronca's time there, 126.60. That to us just 20 minutes ago would have seemed impossible. And now it is becoming the standard. It's the new bar that has been raised for these competitors.
Oh!
And we can see there, 128. That is going to
Wow.
put him in second place there. I think that could hold him in that top 4 there. That was a phenomenal run.
I think it's very possible, but at the same time, we still have 8 athletes to go, including our top Italian ranked second in all of Italy, Abramo Zancanella. Now,
Yeah,
this
Brahmo
is gonna
is
be
one
crazy.
who's going to be...
His time limit now, I mean, it says 3:15 on the clock, but his real time limit is essentially 2 minutes, 8 seconds. That's Julian Silarakis' time, who's currently in 4th place.
Wow, so he's really going to be pushed here. Remember, everyone, we're only taking the top 4 here to New York later this year. So he's going to have to really push, but he showed us in that placement course that he definitely can. We would love to see someone from Italy in the lineup in the Premier Series finals, representing his country, and he's looking phenomenal so far here.
And a beautiful Lachey. Has a bit of a rocky dismount, but he gets right back up and he's onto the shuriken flip.
If there's one thing that Abramo is showing us, he has great strength so far, and I think that's really going to come in handy in these next 2 obstacles with Globe Grasper. Interesting that he's not going through with the swing through approach. We can still make this work if he's efficient. And he's now going to go through the swing.
Oh, a good grab, and now he's just going to hop right off. Still making very good time, just past 1 minute 5 seconds. He's going to have to move, though, if he wants to get to the buzzer in under 2:08.
Absolutely, and you can just see that sense of urgency there. It can cause you to make mistakes under the pressure, but if he can get through double spinner here, he'll be on good pace. He's got to
But
go,
he's a
though.
little
Ooh.
uneven. Finds himself spinning. He's going to have to straighten out and control with his hips and his core.
And
There
you
it
can just
is.
see how much those discs move.
Yeah, those are some very sensitive holds. You're going to have to be very precise if you want to lock in right away. Now, he's got about 15 seconds left until the 2-minute mark. We're still looking at a sub 2-minute run out of Abramo. That's going to put him in the top 4. And an incredible run. Yet another buzzer. 1:57 puts him into 3rd place at the moment.
Absolutely, Kane. And it's a run that he can celebrate. It's one that he can be super proud of there. Top 3 at the moment. Will that hold is the question. And it's a sad reality that we have to acknowledge here, which is today is one of the most competitive amateur divisions. In another division, Abramo may be able to hold on to that one. But we will have to wait and see here. But regardless, a phenomenal run here, Kane.
Absolutely. Look at how smooth he was through the pole grasper. Moved with a lot of assertiveness, and that type of confidence is what you need to get through this course quickly. As well as a bunch of skill, which he has, but the confidence helps.
And a great deal of strength. Abramo there just showing us that he is a phenomenal athlete. And that is going to push Julian out of the top 4, unfortunately, with Lars Meyer on the bubble. Anything below sub 2, and you're in that top 4 at the moment.
Yep.
And now we are moving into our next competitor.
The time to beat for the top 4 is Lars's 2:01. I did want to point out right now, we have someone from France, Poland, Italy, and Germany all in the top 4 right now.
That would be a beautiful top 4 to keep. I don't know if Maxim agrees with that. I think he's going to be going for a top 4 spot right now, Ken.
I would assume so, as he's moving very just passing 20 seconds as he comes into the fly lache.
Absolutely.
Oh, what a powerful kick. Wow, that was beautiful.
Now, this power is concerning for the other competitors. Maxim just showing us why he was one of these late-seeded competitors. That is a great deal of strength and just such strong lache power that very few people are capable of doing. And now you add this sense of urgency to the strength, and what you get here is a competitor who could be going for our top time here, Ken.
He's definitely on pace to do that right now. Hasn't even crossed a minute yet. He's about to as he starts the pole grasper. And again, we've seen the beta broken on this obstacle, so he's made it through faster than almost anyone has today.
We have to take our hats off to this young lad here. He is flying through this course, and if he can get off this double spinner, he will be eyeing himself up for a top spot here. He's just got to get this dismount here.
He's got to adjust on his stance.
Oh, it's been so fast. This was a phenomenal run here. Maxim is just coming unstuck here. He's losing so much time. And this is going to cost him a top spot potentially. But he's running now. He's going for this 15-foot warped wall cane. Can he make it up it? He gets the grab.
Jump.
A minute 31 on the clock. And we are going to get a final time here of 147.6.
Oh my goodness. That puts him into 3rd place. And what could have been, Jack? He was hanging for such a while on the spinning disc right there. And that definitely cost him some precious time.
The question of what could have been for Maxim there is the one that's always going to sit in our minds. We have seen a ninja here just come in with strength that we don't see very often. He made this course look way too easy. So strong there regardless. Minus a spinning disc. That's the last thing that came unstuck there. Now in 3rd place, putting Abramo on the bubble. It's going to be interesting to see how we evolve, especially seeing some of his French competitors there who are yet to take to the stage.
And here we were getting super excited about Billy and Sebastian breaking through with the clear. We have had 8
feels
in
like
a
year
row,
ago now.
essentially.
Absolutely.
It's not even phasing us. Oh yeah, he got 147. That's pretty good, I
Kane,
guess.
I think I'm going to have to quote you here. You said, I don't think we'll see all 12 competitors finishing and completing this course, but so far everyone has finished. So Ben Emerson is the next up to do so.
I might very well just be wrong here. Now the time to get in the top 4. Did he step back? Nope. He double checked with Dion. He's all good. Ben Emerson flying through right now. Time to beat is 1:57 from Italy's Abramo Zancanella.
And we are seeing a phenomenal movement here of just competitor after competitor getting clears. This is something that we haven't seen all Premier Series finals, but I'm loving to see it at the moment because not only is getting a clear a fundamental requirement of making it into the top 4, you now need a sub at least 2 minutes from my understanding.
That's right. And now he's picking up the pace after that little brief confusion. Coming into
almost
Shuriken
falling
Flip.
back there again.
The nice thing about Shuriken Flip is that while it does tilt, it doesn't tilt super fast, so you can make the correction. Oh, what an interesting twist there. He's going to keep looping himself around and goes
Just
right for that.
having some fun there. Showing
Now,
us his strength there. He's got some grip strength, and this should be good on pole grasper.
It's only been a little over a minute for him. He's got about 45 seconds to clear this course and still land in the top 4. But of course,
Absolutely,
you want to get through as fast as possible so that way you're not sitting in 4th place.
Absolutely. This second disc, though, this has been costly on the time. Ben's lining it up well. And now coming into the 15-foot warped wall, Kane. 1:45 on the clock. Is this going to be enough? He's got to get it on his first go, I reckon.
Oh, but he's a little short there. Not a lot of speed. Looks like he's
just
shaking
coming
out
unstuck.
He's got about 12 seconds to get to the buzzer if he wants to get in that top 4.
He's going to have to go, Kane. He's going to have to fly up this wall.
Oh,
He just
no.
comes short again. And that's going to cost him there. He's going to get another go.
We have quite the show on now. That will knock Benjamin out of the top 4. But he's still got a lot of time to go.
Oh. And the crowd is just disappointed, but he's on his 4th and final attempt from my understanding. He wants to complete this course. He wants to have that sense of pride. Let's get him up this walk wall, ladies and gentlemen. Benjamin Emerson, and just too tired.
And it looks
He's
like
just a bit too knackered.
he's got 40 seconds to go. And at this point, it's not about the buzzer. It's not about qualifying for finals. It's his pride. You know he wants it.
And you can just see the crowd in the background cheering him on, hoping he gets up this wall. And just coming unstuck once again. And with 20 seconds on the clock here, the question is can he find that fight within him, Kane? Can he get up this wall?
12 seconds remaining. He's got enough for one more attempt if he books it.
5 seconds left on
Come
the
on,
clock.
give it a run.
To respect the hustle.
His fingertips were so close to it. And that's going to do it for Benjamin Emerson.
Kane, we have to take our hats off to him. I mean, talk about having a fight within him. He got there with in a minute 28. A minute 28 to the 15-foot warped wall and just came unstuck. He would have been in our top 4 had it not been for that, but it's just at the end, you're absolutely gassed. The legs are gone. But Ben Emerson is going to be a competitor to watch in years to come.
I can't agree more. He gave such a great fight and was putting on a clinic on these first 8 obstacles. Was flawless, especially on the globe grasper. I loved his technique there. That's going to land Ben Emerson in 9th place now.
Absolutely, and it just goes to show, unfortunately, we have seen a break in these waves of completions. But, Kane, if there's anyone who's going to get us back on track, it's Jack Andrews. He threw down a phenomenal placement course run.
I agree. 6th place in the young adult division this past regular season. Now, something to note here, Jack was 4th place. And that does mean that from now on, one person will be knocked out of finals contention, while another will guarantee their spot in the Premier Series finals. Jack had to stop and clarify if he could step on a mat right before hanging alley. That did cost him a few seconds, so perhaps he'll have to really push it now.
Absolutely, and just in case you're wondering if it looks like Jack Andrews is a seasoned competitor, he absolutely is. As we've reiterated multiple times, he has made it to stage 3 of last year's World Championships. Goodness. And just in case you were wondering if you needed proof, I hope his efforts on Globe Grasper is proving that.
That hand-over-hand technique was impeccable. And now we're
He
getting
just
some
attacks this course.
very great efficiency. Jack, it hasn't even been a minute yet. Or, yeah, no, it hasn't been a minute. Just hit the minute mark now. This could be our fastest time.
This can't be happening.
This could
Sub
very well
120
be our
is on the
fastest
cards here.
Oh my goodness, that was sub 115. 110.
Oh my.
Oh.
Jack Andrews making that look too easy here on this course. Ladies and gentlemen, he had 3:15 on the clock allocated for this course. He almost didn't even need a minute of that time. 110.43 is going to throw him right into that top spot there, Kane.
Not only that, but that time and that placement guarantees his spot in the Premier Series finals. With only 3 runners left, even if they all beat him, he will be in that top 4. Congratulations to Mr. Jack Andrews.
I mean, talk about a feared competitor. We're talking about someone who has the capabilities to take out the Premier Series finals. He's been on stage 3 before. He knows how to do it all. And I'm just talk about a dominant run there. 16 seconds in front of Branke Heindrich, an individual who we thought threw down a phenomenal run. And even his position is still not safe. He'll have to still hold that run as we move into Alec Doyle, a phenomenal competitor who's got a smile on his face but has lock-off strength like no tomorrow here today, Kane.
Alec put up a great placement run, and something that I highlighted was his IQ. He came in with speed and efficiency, but also with great strategy. You could tell he had a plan and he executed to perfection. If he does the same right now, I think a lot of people should be worried.
Absolutely. Alex surprised us all, just throwing down such a great run. At 48 years of age, he's using that experience to his fullest here. Now, does he have the lache within him? He's looking good here, Kane.
Just gets it with the fingertips. Incredible move. He's going to take one extra swing. Gets that dismount. A little bit of a rough landing, but he's back up and running through the shuriken flip.
And you can just see here, he is about roughly just over halfway through this course now. 1 minute down on the clock. This is looking to be a very strong run here.
Took a minute to get into a rhythm on the Globe Grasper, but he's back in it now. He's moving about on par with Brancaire, looking at a top 3 time at the moment.
Absolutely. He's going to get some more height here. This is going to cost him in the time department. And now he's realizing he's got to go down lower to get the swing and the momentum. This could be a costly time for his run here. 1:54 on the clock. 2 more obstacles to go here, Kane. This
and
is
it
still
looks
within
like
potential, but
he's a little crooked now.
him.
I'm a little concerned for his lache skill there, but that's okay. His retry will be used on the double spinner. Just gonna wait for the disc to be steadied, and Alec will have another shot with 1:40 on the clock. Good hand placement this time around.
Eating up.
Ooh,
He's looking good here.
Fingertips peeled off almost, but sticks it. He's now coming up to the 15-foot wall. And the time to beat is 1:47. I think he's running very low on that time. I think he actually might not. Yep, he just passed 2 minutes. So he will not be in the top 4. But Alec, at 48 years old, could still hit a buzzer on the challenge course. A huge accomplishment.
Absolutely. Does he have the gas in the tank to go up this wall? Yes, he does, Kane, as he secures that finish. And he's happy. He does a little dance there. You know what? He made a few small mistakes there, but still coming out with a 2:15, which had he been an earlier competitor, would have blown our minds out of the water.
Now, this does mean that Brancaire Heindrich will also be joining Jack Andrews in the Premier Series finals. So,
absolutely. Very exciting for Brancaire Heindrich. And a well-deserved spot as well. Very much well-deserved by Brancaire. Alec Doyle being a great sport about it. He's happy. He's well-spirited. And we're going to see that run one more time here. Just a few little slip-ups throughout the run. He looked super dominant in this first half. Was on pace with Brancaire. But unfortunately, when it came to the poles and the discs, it just left him being unstuck there.
A great run. A great celebration as well. Love to see that all the ninjas are having fun on this course. And
Yeah,
Man,
and it's
it's
as
gonna
you
be
iterate,
great.
Kane. It's about the ninja versus the course, and at the end of the day, people are great spirited about it, and that's what we love to see here in the sport.
Absolutely. Now, Maxim Deporte is over in fourth place right now with a time of 1:47, but his two teammates are the only two people standing in front of him and a spot in the finals, as Arthur Masson, the top young adult from last regular season, is about to take on the amateur challenge course.
Yeah, Arthur is a force to be reckoned with here. He's a feared competitor here today, and he represents France, but he is one of the best athletes here today, arguably. He is fired up. He knows he not only wants to set a great time, but potentially the fastest time here, Kane. Oh, what are we witnessing?
Oh, a big skip. He
Oh,
tried
no!
to go for it, but he's hit that rope out of the way too. Great catch in midair. I don't know if that's going to beat Jack Andrews' 1 minute 10 seconds, but a top 4 time still very much in play now.
Well, Arthur is attacking this course with a sense of ferocity, and anything can happen on the back end. He's looking like he's got ideas of how he wants to innovate, and I just love the intensity in which he's attacking this course.
He's going to hop right up into the globe grasper. Has a good wingspan, so he's going to be skipping some globes here. And it's working
this
out.
is quick. He could have saved a great deal of time there. That might be the fastest on globe grasper we've seen so far.
I agree, and it's only been 55 seconds for him. This is
That is hard
about
to
on
believe.
pace with Jack. This
If he
could
can
be
get
our
through this
fastest
quickly,
time. He's got to go.
he's going to have to go here. This is going to be close. Arthur
he's
Masson
passing it
gearing
again.
up.
Oh, and a great buzzer, an incredible, wow, 1 minute 14 seconds.
1:14.
Puts him in second place, lands him in the Premier Series finals. Congratulations to Arthur Masson.
And that is going to knock out his fellow French competitor, Maxim. And unfortunately, that will end his run, but Arthur has secured his top 4 spot. What a phenomenal competitor. These French athletes are going to be ones to watch in the Premier Series finals later here in November. Just, these athletes are scary, Kane. This is too fast.
I agree. It's absolutely terrifying. I was looking at this course thinking, how fast can you really go? And it genuinely has me terrified that a sub-minute run could be possible from the right athletes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy.
And when I think of Jack Andrews, what he did really well was he was very calm, and yet he still threw down a 1:10. That to me is the scary prospect, because you know
He also-
a good ninja.
He also stopped and had to ask what mat he had to go on next. So that also took a couple seconds off.
And if you think about it, with Arthur's run, if he didn't make that initial, if he didn't go for that initial skip, that was about 4 seconds that cost him. So he could have had the top time there, but unfortunately, it was just that one little slip up. But regardless, we're seeing Jack Andrews, Arthur Masson, and Bronker Heinrich all going to the Premier Series finals, with Franciszek on the border. This could be concerning for him.
Our lone Polish competitor, Franek, in the hot seat. Adrian Araujo's time to beat is 1 minute 28 seconds. That currently belongs to Franek.
Our top-seeded competitor, though, here today, Adrian Araujo, not only completed the placement course, but flew through it. And it looks like he's going to do the same here with this challenge course. He's seen every other competitor go through it here today. He knows what the best approaches are. And he's got a calm, collected approach here on Hanging Alley, but then looking for that dismount, which is what we like to see.
Does a nice little hop up to the fly lâché. One big swing is all he needed. He's going to
Oh,
link.
he's going for
I've
the
been waiting
link.
to see who was going to do that. Adrian saved himself quite a few seconds with that move.
And this is looking to be a top time here coming into Globe Grasper. He's still got 4 obstacles to go here, so anything can happen. We have seen people go a little bit faster here, but Adrian is going to have to put on the burners on these last 3 obstacles.
He is about 5 seconds ahead of Jack Andrews' pace right now, which is a terrifying prospect.
5 seconds. If he can get these double spinners, people come unstuck here.
Oh,
He's
he
going straight
linked
for the
it.
links, Kane.
Popped right
This is going to
through.
be. This could be
Could
phenomenal.
we see A new fastest time, a one-handed grab on the wall. And that is the fastest time. If I'm no 111, second fastest. Wow,
it's going to be in second place, and that is going to knock Franek out of the top 4. Oh,
yeah, heartbreaking.
What a run!
But wow, yeah, again, heartbreak for our Polish competitor Franek as he just falls one spot short of the finals. But Adrian Araujo takes on that second spot just 1.3 seconds behind Jack Andrews. And I think that was he got such good air on that fly lache. That was incredible. Everything was so efficient. I think the only thing that cost him was that one-handed grab on the warped wall. He wasn't able to pull himself up right away.
That regardless, we are talking small differences in this, what has been a lineup. We have never seen this many finishes, from my understanding, across any of the divisions, across any of the heats so far. And I genuinely wish, Kane, that we could give a few of these extra competitors in the 5th, 6th, and 7th place a spot. But unfortunately, we cannot. And that will secure our top 4. We've got Jack Andrews with a minute 10, Adrian Araujo, Arthur Massan, and then finally Bronker Heinrich, all representing us in this Premier Series finals.
That was such an incredible clash of the nations. We had 5 different countries represented, but in the end, Jack Andrews of the UK, followed by 3 members of Team France, fill out your finalist list. We'll be seeing those 4 take on world champions Zach Keenan, Henry Katrick, and even more incredible athletes in the amateur division in the Premier Series finals. Be sure to tune in November 17th to 19th for all of the action. It's going to be huge. Now, I did want to take one last look at Jack's run because that was absolutely wild how calm he looked. And it was still...
we failed to appreciate just how quick he was going during that time until we saw the final clock. I think me and you were in disbelief, to be truthful, at just how fast he was going.
Yeah, it was one of those where I could tell that he was moving. I had a very strong feeling that his pace was top 4 worthy. But when I saw him hit the buzzer and I saw the clock stop, I was shocked because honestly, I would have guessed it was 1:30. That's how quick it looked. But that definitely isn't how quick it was.
Yeah, no one could quite catch him there. Jack Andrews just throwing down that top time there. And I think another run that we've got to look at again is Bronker Heinrich. Of course, a phenomenal competitor. Not quite at that minute 10, minute 15 bracket, but still a 1:26 and is going to be feared coming into the Premier Series finals.
That was an incredible run. Bronker really used his wingspan to his advantage on the pole grasper, made it through that almost faster than any of our other athletes. If we take a look here, he has quite the reach, and he definitely allowed that to help him out.
Absolutely. Such a smooth run once again. It's these higher level athletes that we're seeing just fly through, and it was just small little details that caused him to lose a bit of time. But when we first saw him throwing down that minute 26, it's hard to think just 20, 30 minutes ago that we were considering that to be the most dominant and impossible time. But Bronker Heinrich, a phenomenal athlete, and Kane, I am so excited to see these guys in action.
Absolutely. There were dominant runs, but I think arguably the most dominant run, even if it wasn't the fastest time, was out of Adrian Araujo. He absolutely crushed every obstacle, just had a little slip on his hand on the warped wall, but prior to that, he was linking every obstacle that we were.
Yeah.
I was waiting to see if anyone was going to do it, and Adrian really pulled through. Look at this link on the flywheel. Major air
And that's
time.
a big lache.
It is.
It's one that you don't want to normally link, but Adrian is so consistent, so dominant.
Linking
it's hard
those
to think
spinning
that he
discs
didn't get the
as
top
well.
time.
I know. It was just that slip up on the wall, but linking the spinning discs as well, a very underrated, tricky move to get with moving holds like those. And that goes to show why he ended up in that top 4. So congratulations again to all 4 of our amateur male athletes, as well as Gwen over in the amateur female division. locking her
Of
spot
course.
in the Premier Series finals. 5 incredible athletes who have now punched their ticket over to Brooklyn, and the action continues very soon as we have our teen and elite divisions coming up, and our elite division has some big names. Heavyweight battles in the European circuit, and I cannot wait to see how they do. Starting off with Hollis Lansford. Hollis made it out to the World Championship this past season. Fell on the last obstacle of stage 1, but made it to stage 2 off of strongest ninja points. This kid's work ethic is insane. I've gotten to train with him once. He's just working so hard at every possible move. He plans out every scenario imaginable, and he's a very methodical ninja with incredible technical prowess. So I'm very excited to see how the course has been elevated for the elites, and frankly, how easy Hollis is going to make it look. But in Hollis's way is Viktor Mikhailov, a Russian representative who's traveled around the world for Ninja just this year alone. He's been to Russia, Germany, Switzerland, the UK, and if I'm not mistaken, Poland. So he's been around quite a bit, picking at the brains of some of the greatest European ninjas for a while now, and he's made some big moves. His speed is what he's known for, but his strength is nothing to be slept on. His balance is also impeccable. Taking a look at these two side by side, the only real difference seems to be on their generating swing stats, their Lachey obstacles. Hollis with a slight edge, but in balance, climbing, campusing, and tech, they are dead even with 100% clear rates.
Well, I mean, my mouth is wide open just looking at these two individuals. I genuinely have no words, and I have no idea who's going to come out on top. But luckily, we're going to find out later today. We can see here the lineup. We've had the kids and mature kids. We've had the preteens. We've had the amateurs. And now we've got the teens at 2 p.m. and then the elites at 5:30 p.m. here today. It's going to be an incredibly exciting time, Kane. I think that concludes me for today. Do you have any other comments to add?
Not really. Thank you so much for joining me today, Jack. Thank you, everyone, for staying in the chat, watching. Love seeing the support of all of these athletes from all around the world, and we look forward to seeing that action continue very soon. So be sure to check back in at 2 p.m. British Standard Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the teen division.